All right, for more on this story, let's bring in Rob Shaw at the BC Legislature. So, Rob, changes to autism funding have been very political these last few years. How does that fit into today's announcement?
Well, Stacey, stopping changes to autism funding was one of the first things David Eby did after becoming Premier in 2022. He said families could keep individualized funding and BC would not move to a community support model. But today, at least, part of that is a reversal, a government under intense financial strain trying to expand services to other children, in some cases by reducing services to certain children with autism. The key number, and you heard this in Ollie's story, is 5,200 children who currently get $6,000 a year, but who won't qualify for either of the new programs announced today because they either aren't high enough need or their family makes too much money. That is 20% of the kids with autism getting support from the government right now who will not. The Premier promised 3 years ago this would not happen, so the risk is parents who fought the NDP government in 2022, forced it to stop, might return angry about this. The second political risk here is the new income thresholds. To continue to get $6,000 in supports under the new disability supplement, a family has to have a combined net household income of below $50,000. That is very low, almost minimum wage low. The government says 46% of families will qualify under this, but for everyone else, you see the sliding scale here. It drops to $4,000 at $100,000 income and cuts off entirely at $280,000. So it certainly means some families already struggling will have to make do with less, or in some cases, nothing except for community supports. Here's the minister on that today.
We know that many children, families who have children with disabilities in the province are in middle to lower income brackets because of the cost of raising a child with a disability. And so we endeavored to strike a balance of the fiscal climate that we're in with providing more support to more children.
Well, Rob, that's not the only news of the day at the Ledge. We finally heard from John Rustad about whether he wants to join the BC Conservative leadership race. Lots of questions about this. What did he have to say?
Yeah, well, that's right. The former BC Conservative leader who was deposed by his caucus and party and declared professionally incapacitated, actually, in December, announcing today he may be considering joining the race to replace basically himself. Rustad saying he has received a leadership application package and he is, well, let's just hear him in his own words here.
The deadline for the leadership race is the 15th, and at this point I am undecided as to whether or not I am actually going to enter the race. And I'll give you the rationale and the reason why that I'm in that situation. I have people from around the province, many people from around the province, organizers from around the province, that are pushing me hard to run, to go in and enter the race. My wife is also pushing very hard for me to run and to enter the race. And so I've had many a long talk about it, and I have not come to a conclusion with regards to that.
Now, when Rustad was removed in December, he said he would not fight that to avoid plunging the party into a civil war. Today, he said that is still a concern for running for his old job, and he is thinking about that. But an op-ed in the National Post today from his former chief of staff urging Rustad, for the good of the party, stay out of the race, move on, and let someone else lead. So, Stacey, we shall see if Rustad does join the race to replace himself. That would create a baker's dozen almost of candidates here in the race. Pretty rare for a deposed leader to do something like this, but lots of opinions for and against on whether this is a good idea.